is Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC 6 News, First at 4.
First at 4 begins with a big story tonight out of Providence. Mayor Smiley was true to his word. A few days ago, he said he'd be announcing soon his choice for the next chief of police in the capital city. Well, this morning, we found out who it is. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on First at 4. I'm John DeLuca. Oscar Perez now has that high-profile position. He's been on the job for years in Providence, and as ABC 6 News reporter Daniel Coates tells us, this groundbreaking appointment was popular for a lot of reasons.
Well, in a packed mayor's office this morning, now Chief Oscar Perez called Providence a city of minorities, now stepping in as the 38th police chief and the first of Latin descent, a historic day in the city. Earlier today in the mayor's office, Smiley described now Colonel Perez as someone who can best connect with the community and take the department to a new 21st century level. Perez served as acting chief after the departure of former Chief Hugh Clements. This decision also came after the community forum between Perez, Major Lanny, and Major LePayton Wednesday evening. Now, Smiley said the decision ultimately came down to who could have the best relationship with the residents of Providence.
This man will effectively be able to lead our department and take on that other responsibility that only the chief has, to be the face and the voice for the Providence Police Department.
Growing up in the city and standing here in front of all of you goes without saying how proud and how humble and honored I feel. Thank you.
Now, Mayor Smiley said today that the decision on deputy chief is ultimately up to Perez, and that decision is expected next week. Stick with ABC 6 on air and online for continued coverage. For now in Providence, I'm Daniel Coates, ABC 6 News.
Former Colonel Clements, who Chief Perez is replacing, issuing a statement today on the appointment saying, "I think Oscar Perez is an outstanding selection. I said from the beginning that the next leader is right here in the command staff. He has great credibility internally and externally in the community. He has the right temperament for the complexities of the position and the right empathy for the community and the men and women who serve." New on First at 4, the Rhode Island State Police now in the process of rolling out their body camera program. Training and outfitting troopers with the cameras now underway. A pilot program wrapped up at the end of last month. Some uniformed troopers started using them today. Colonel Weaver saying they'll promote accountability and transparency. Attorney General Nerona announcing a man from Iowa has been sentenced to 5 years at the ACI for gun trafficking. Marcos Castellanos entered a no contest plea to a number of charges involving buying and selling weapons without paperwork, carrying a firearm without a license, and scratching off a serial number. Prosecutors also allege Denasia Machado bought and sold the guns for Castellanos. Machado's case is still pending in Providence Superior Court. North Attleboro police are looking for the driver who did not stop for a bus and hit a pedestrian. Thankfully, that pedestrian wasn't hurt too badly. This happened Wednesday morning on South Washington Street just before 7:30. Police are looking for the person who was driving the Jeep that was on your screen or is about to be on your screen. If you know anything about the hit and run, you're asked to call North Attleboro Police. Out of developing news out of Jamestown, first responders saving a man who fell from a cliff at Beavertail State Park. Last night around 5 o'clock, authorities responded to a call of a missing person. After a search that included the use of a drone, a man in his 50s was found on an embankment. It was too steep to reach him, so they came at him from a different angle, using a boat to get him to safety. He was med-flooded to Rhode Island Hospital to be treated for his injuries and hypothermia. No word yet on what he was doing at the time he fell. First at 4, take a live look over the beautiful city of Providence on this Friday afternoon. Just gorgeous there as we look at the blue, blue skies as far as the eye can see. Let's get a check on the forecast now with Storm Tracker meteorologist, a giggling meteorologist Kelly Bates joining us live in the Weather Center. I see that we broke the record, but we not only broke it, Kelly, we smashed it.
Right, it's gone. So yeah, we made it to 64 degrees so far in Providence. That is our new record high. If indeed we don't top that. In New Bedford, we topped out at 66. Now the old record was a long-standing one, 58 from 1909, and we actually broke it this morning at 9 a.m. when we had that reading of 60 degrees. We do have cooler temperatures in store for us for the weekend. Highs will be in the lower 40s and the lower 50s, but the 60s look like they may be coming back, and I'll show you that in the extended forecast in just a couple minutes. Right now in Providence, we've got 60 degrees, and we have this wind moving in from the west-northwest at 17 miles per hour, actually a pleasant little breeze. We have lots of sunshine, and that'll take us right until the sun goes down about 5:15. High pressure has moved in to take charge, and and we're going to take it into the weekend too. But we will also start to see a difference, and that being a colder pool of air will begin to move into southern New England as we go into overnight, and that means lows in the 30s to start your tomorrow. And I'll let you know which day gets the 40s for highs and which days gets the 50s coming up in just a couple minutes. John?
I look forward to that. We'll see you then. Thank you, Kelly. Now to our focus on our schools. A reminder that Winters Elementary School in Pawtucket will remain closed all of next week. During that time, students will be learning virtually. This announcement coming after the school was closed this week due to a burst pipe during the Arctic blast last weekend. School officials now speaking publicly about all the issues plaguing this new school.
It's disappointing. It's incredibly frustrating. It's disappointing. And it's not anything that we could have foreseen or even planned for, right? So I think our response has got to be what our response is, and it's to get a safe building delivered back to the students and the families of Pawtucket.
The situation has certainly chapped a lot of parents and teachers, considering Winters Elementary is a new school that just opened in the fall. Not to mention the start to school was delayed over issues with alarms in the building. At this point, the estimate to get the students back in class at Winters is now February 27th, which is over 2 weeks away. Now to local political news at 4 o'clock. Rhode Island firefighters have a new training center. It's on Log Road in Smithfield, right at the firehouse there. 11 fire departments in northern Rhode Island will be using this spot to train. And this facility has the capability to use real fire and smoke in training simulations. Officials say that's incredibly valuable to stay sharp, even for experienced firefighters, due to the overall number of fires trending down in the state.
Because the number of significant structure fires in our region has reduced to a few per year, our members are not seeing heavy fire conditions in the fires we are responding to. This is good from a fire prevention standpoint, but the skill level of our fire crews is diminishing. It is a safety issue, as our crews do not get enough exposure to live fire to understand its characteristics and how dangerous it really is.
Well, federal and state grants were used to pay for this facility. Local leaders recognizing National 211 Day today in Rhode Island. If you call 211, you get answers about things like food pantries and child care programs, plus job training and housing information. Senators Reid and Whitehouse in Providence to announce additional federal funding for this crucial program. If there's any doubt about how important this service is, it handled more than 213,000 calls last year. Congressman Cicilline honoring a former Marine and CCRI graduate killed during a humanitarian mission in war-torn Ukraine. Congressman Cicilline highlighting the service of Pete Reid on the floor of the House. Reid was deployed to Afghanistan twice, helped recovery efforts after Hurricane Sandy, and trained medical teams in Haiti and Iraq. Reid and veteran Derek Coleman also formed Global Response Medicine, an organization that served people across the world. From there, Pete Reid joined Global Outreach Doctors to help in Ukraine. Now to our continuing coverage of the rescue efforts in Turkey and Syria. The death toll just keeps rising. It's now at 22,000 people. And despite the time that's passed since Monday's quake, search and rescue teams are still finding survivors here and there in the rubble. Rena Roy has the latest.
Days after the devastating quake that rocked Turkey and Syria, help pouring in from around the world. Rescue teams and supplies landing in Damascus, Syria's capital, with cold, hunger, and heartbreak gripping hundreds of thousands of people. This UN aid convoy also bringing in crucial relief like blankets, food, and hygiene baskets as search and rescue workers continue working around the clock. This elderly woman pulled out alive from a partially collapsed hospital, and crews racing to this destroyed building, thinking they may have found someone alive. Working quickly but carefully, the workers reach those trapped beneath the destruction. Cheers ringing out as the family is rescued.
More than 3 days after they were buried, seemingly alive, a mother and a son rescued alive from under the rubble.
But with each hour that goes by, the chances of survival go down. Zuhal and Can speaking with ABC's David Muir about their unthinkable loss.
How many loved ones did you lose?
12. The U.S. military has announced they've set up a naval task force to coordinate humanitarian aid and disaster relief in Turkey, where a Marine general arrived Thursday to lead the efforts. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Right now, UNICEF is delivering emergency supplies to thousands of children and families impacted by that earthquake in Syria and Turkey. ABC and its owner Disney are proud to support those efforts. If you'd like to help, you can do so by going to unicefusa.org/ABC News. Still to come on ABC 6 News, first at 4, former Vice President Pence now embroiled in the special counsel investigation into the 2020 election. Plus, the Biden administration releasing more information on the Chinese spy operations that resulted in the balloon hovering across the Midwest. And later, a preview of the highly anticipated Super Bowl halftime show and Rihanna's return to the stage. What she says fans can expect. You're watching ABC 6, Southern New England's trusted news source. Now to national news at 4 o'clock. The FBI conducting a search of former Vice President Pence's home in Indiana. His spokesperson says a private attorney is at the residence while the search is going on. Pence is currently on the West Coast with family. A lawyer for Pence previously found a dozen documents marked classified at that home. Pence's team says they have been cooperating with the searches. The FBI is also expected to search his D.C. office soon. Former Vice President has also been subpoenaed by the special counsel investigating Donald Trump and his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Pence faced enormous pressure from Trump and his allies to overturn the results. A mob of Trump supporters storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, after Pence made it clear that he would certify the election results for Joe Biden. In a November interview with ABC News, Pence called Trump's words on January 6th reckless.
The president's words that day at the rally endangered me and my family and everyone at the Capitol building.
Still not clear whether the former vice president will comply with the special counsel's subpoena. Spokesperson for Pence did not immediately respond to an ABC News request for comment, and the special counsel's office declined to speak on the matter. Well, now to the latest on the Chinese spy balloon. The Biden administration has provided the most comprehensive description of the spy balloon that floated across several states last week. Investigators saying the balloon was definitely used for spying. This as lawmakers on Capitol Hill grill Pentagon officials about why it took so long to take it out. Here's Ike Janchi.
The Biden administration presenting to the public the extent of China's global surveillance operation.
This is a program that has spanned 5 continents, 40 countries.
Last week, the military deployed Cold War-era U-2 spy planes to track and study the balloon before it was shot down over the Atlantic Ocean. A newly publicized State Department document says that spy balloon was equipped with multiple antennas capable of collecting communications and enormous solar panels strong enough to power multiple active intelligence collecting sensors, refuting China's claim that it was a civilian weather balloon that had strayed off course. Navy divers specialized in handling explosives continue to scour the waters off South Carolina, searching for possibly dangerous debris from that Chinese spy balloon. On Capitol Hill, Pentagon officials grilled by Democrats and Republicans about why the balloon wasn't shot down when it first crossed into U.S. airspace over Alaska.
To me, the clear message to China is we got free range in Alaska.
We potentially could have taken it down over the Aleutian Islands.
The Pentagon claims it didn't want to shoot it over land in fear of civilian casualties on the ground. They also say downing the balloon over the Aleutian Islands in Alaska could mean diving for debris in waters as deep as 18,000 feet, making recovery and salvage operations dangerous. President Biden defending the decision, saying he doesn't regret shooting it down sooner and that the spy balloon was not a major security breach.
The total amount of intelligence gathering that's going on by every country around the world is overwhelming.
The FBI is examining every single scrap recovered, but today, U.S. officials say they've made a big recovery. They believe they've located the undercarriage, where most of the surveillance equipment is housed, largely intact. Ike Janchi, ABC News, Washington.
And now, your ABC 6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Kelly Bates.
What a weirdly warm day, right? But we'll take it. Beautiful weather today. Definitely spring-like in nature. 63 is your current temperature in New Bedford, coming down from a high of 66. We have 60 downtown. We have 60 in Westerly, 59 in Newport, even 51 on Block Island with 56 in Smithfield. But we also have this wind moving in fairly aggressively from the northwest. We've been seeing sustained winds between 10 and 20 miles per hour with occasional higher gusts. Here are the gusts of which we speak. Gusts of 25 miles per hour in Providence and New Bedford. Higher elevations seeing more wind like Worcester with a current gust of 38. So what that northwesterly wind is doing is it's just funneling in dry air, and we're combining a warm start in the 50s and all of this sunshine, and that's why we have the nice spring-like situation we find ourselves in. I'm going to zoom out, take a look, see if there's anything around that we have to be concerned about. Sure, there's a little front working its way through the Great Lakes, but that should basically move through northern New England. It's not going to be our issue. We have an area of high pressure in charge, and that's going to keep things dry for us as we go into tonight and actually go into the weekend as well. Here's just a quick preview. If you have any evening plans, temperatures will be dropping by 10 p.m. We should be close to 40 degrees. And at that time, if the winds still are up, and they will be a little bit, it will make it feel like the 30s. So that's what you would dress for if you are headed out. But if you're going for an early evening nosh, you will find temperatures in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. So really pleasant conditions. Heading into tonight, again, high pressures in charge. We're looking at mainly clear skies. Saturday morning, we wake up to sun, but we will find cooler temperatures. After all, our wind direction is northwesterly. Not only is it bringing dry air, but it's going to bring in air from the north where temperatures are, well, cooler. As we go through Saturday, look for tons of sunshine. It will be a pleasant day, a little bit more seasonable with highs that should be in the 40s. And then we get to Sunday morning, expecting another mostly sunny day with clouds building in once we hit the evening. These clouds will be attributed to the approach of a coastal storm. And you can see the northern edge of the precipitation associated with it right here in the bottom right corner of your screen. Now, this coastal storm, as of now, is expected just to brush by Nantucket, throw us some clouds, and that's about it for early Monday morning. But shouldn't wobble the slightest bit to the west. We could start off Monday morning with a chance of showers, and you'll see that show up in your extended forecast, too, as a result. So here's our area of high pressure sliding by as we go from Saturday to Sunday. It's going to flip our wind direction from northwesterly and cooler on Saturday to southwesterly and warmer for Sunday, meaning Sunday is going to be the warmer of the 2 weekend days. Overnight tonight, lows will drop to near 32, mainly clear skies. Winds will begin to relax too, and for tomorrow, sunny and cooler with a high of 43. We bounce back into the 50s for Sunday with a flip to the southwesterly wind. There's your chance of morning rain for Monday with that coastal low, but it should be out of here by the time we get to Valentine's Day. Tuesday looking sunny and nice for your sweetie with a high of 48. John?
Still to come on ABC 6 News. First at 4, 10 former NFL players are now suing the NFL, what they're claiming the league did wrong. Plus, the local connection Rhode Island has with the Puppy Bowl this year. Ten former NFL players are now suing the league's disability program, Commissioner Goodell, and the Disability Board. Among the claims in their lawsuit, the former players say they were wrongfully denied benefits, and the NFL found ways to limit payments for their health problems.
We're the one league that goes back every year and reevaluates everything we do, whether it's a safety rule or whether it's a competitive rule, whether it's taking out techniques to make our game safer for our players.
The NFL issued a statement on the lawsuit that said its disability plan is, quote, fair and administered by a professional staff. Well, that lawsuit, of course, coming just days before the Super Bowl. And just as big as the game is, the halftime show is the real attraction for a lot of people on Sunday night. Rihanna getting ready to go on stage and show off her incredible skills Sunday night. During her meeting with the media this week about that performance, she kept a lot of the details close to the vest, but she did say it'll have representation.
Representing for immigrants, representing for my country, Barbados, representing for Black women everywhere.
She said the hardest part about the performance was cutting down her 17-year career into 13 minutes. A rescue pup from Rhode Island will be taking to the gridiron on Sunday. Joey from Vintage Pet Rescue will be playing in Puppy Bowl 19. Joey uses an adaptive wheelchair to get around. In the Puppy Bowl, Joey will be playing for Team Rough, one of 122 puppies taking the field. The Puppy Bowl highlights all the work being done by rescue and shelter workers all across the country. You can watch Joey face off against Team Fluff on Animal Planet on Sunday. Also, a Rhode Island favorite is happening once again tonight. The Rhode Island Pet Network, along with Buppy Pets, the Guild Pawtucket, and the Save One Soul Animal Rescue League are teaming up for adoptable doggy speed dating. This is the 5th year for Woof You Be Mine, which gives adopters the opportunity to get to know some adoptable dogs through what they call mini dates. The event will happen tonight from 6 o'clock to 9 at the Guild Pawtucket Beer Barn right there on Main Street. Still to come tonight on ABC 6 News, first at 4, house skateboard legend Tony Hawk is trying to give back to the family of Tyre Nichols. Legendary skateboarder Tony Hawk wants to help build a skate park in honor of Tyre Nichols. Hawk is selling autographed pictures of himself along with BMX biker Rick Thorne. A portion of those proceeds will benefit the Tyre Nichols Memorial Fund. Hawk called Nichols a talented skater and said he wants to keep Tyre's legacy alive by helping to create a free, inclusive skate park in his name. The Nichols family said they would use some of the money the family raised on GoFundMe to build that skate park. That GoFundMe page has raised more than $1 million to date. Kelly.
Well, after such a gorgeous day today, you may be pleased to know we'll see the sun again for tomorrow. But temperatures are going to be a little bit different. We're only going to top out into the 40s. It will be breezy as well, so definitely cooler. We do see temps recover into the 50s for Sunday. Mostly sunny skies, clouds building in when we get to the evening. And there is a chance of starting your Monday with some very early rain, predominantly in coastal areas. It all depends on the track of a coastal storm that hasn't even developed yet. But for now, it looks like it's mainly going to hold offshore. That chance of showers, by the way, on Monday morning is very slight. It's only 30%. Once we get to Valentine's Day, it's very nice for you and your sweetie. Lots of sunshine, temperatures warmer than average at 48, and then we go back into the 50s. Now, we did top the 60-degree mark today, and there's a chance we could do it again Thursday and a Friday as another very strong warm front will be coming through southern New England. So we've had a string of some pretty weird weather on Fridays, John.
Seems unbelievable that it's February in southern New England. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. That's going to do it for ABC 6 News first at 4. But first, here's a look at what we have for you coming up tonight at 5. Providence Police now have a new chief. We'll have more on Oscar Perez, the man chosen by Mayor Smiley. Plus, funding secured for the 211 hotline, which provides incredible assistance covering a range of topics for Rhode Islanders in need. Those stories and much more coming up in 30 minutes on ABC 6 News at 5.